I'm back. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Alex Sigrist, and I'm back for another Alex Uncut every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Korea time. Coming out to, I got an itch. Oof. This is awkward. Hey, I've got this video that I do every Wednesday where it's uncut. I do not edit the video except for adding some little, pop-up words here and there. I don't really prepare. I do my best to give an impromptu speech on a topic of a question that you guys have sent in from the previous week's Alex Uncut video comment section. So as a reminder, please leave more questions for next week down below. And this week is going to be slightly different. I still do the same thing. I just, screenshot all of the questions right before I do the video, but I saw a little pattern here on a few of the questions. So I'm actually going to choose the questions first and mix two of them together and then do two more questions at the end. Usually I do a quick question at the end. If you haven't already, don't forget to feed the narcissism, give this video a like, or wait to the end if you like the video, then give it a like then. Subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. Let's go ahead and get to the questions. I'll start, because it's a little pre-planned on which questions I chose this week, I'm gonna start with the questions that I'll answer at the end. Bo Marlin asks, if you could be any age for a week, what age would you choose? Great question. And Amy J, what upcoming project can you tell us about that you are excited about? I got one, wait to the end. Right now I want to go after two questions. One was by Trilby. And the question was related to the video I just released with Rachel. You and Rachel seemed as though you were choosing your words carefully. And then back to the top. Do you think the fact that your videos are unedited sometimes makes the conversation a little stiff and guarded than it would be if you edited it? But it's related to another question that Seventh asked. Do you think you and your peers don't really dive in on serious topics as deep as you all possibly can? Or do you just dip your toes because people won't be interested in the more serious topics? So that's what we're gonna go into today. We're gonna talk about maybe the video I just posted with Rachel and myself, but also a little bit more on those questions. So looking back to the question of the video, I think it was a great question. I do believe that Rachel and I may have been a little bit guarded when we released that video. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead, I'll put the link up here. You can click on it or watch it at the end of this video. We were talking about lookism in Korea. How bad is it? How does it compare to other countries? Now in the end, I ended up agreeing with her that lookism isn't necessarily worse or better in Korea than anywhere else. Every country is different, but there are similarities across the world. However, you may have noticed that the choice of words I used were safe. And there's a couple reasons for that. I'm going to talk about today controversy, I'm going to talk about clickbait, I'm going to talk about interviewing people on a channel. So for those of you who have a channel, this is an important thing to look at and maybe question yourself about how you do it if you talk to people on your channel and whatnot. So let's start with that interview. When I'm doing an interview, when I'm talking to people, there's a couple things that I think about, especially because the video is uncut. I am not only trying to get answers out of them and trying to get them to say their real thoughts on camera, I'm also at the same time trying to make sure that they don't say anything that will hurt them, that they're saying the wrong way, or that gives them a bad reputation on camera as well. So if I try to stoke an argument with someone on camera, just for the sake of getting my point across, what if that makes them angrier and then gets us into a fight on camera? That would look bad for the both of us. So I am very conscious about what I say to people and how I ask questions and how I bring things up, because I'm not just dealing with my reputation, which I don't care as much about. I'm dealing with the reputation of a guest. Now, the reason this is important has a lot to do not just with respect of another person. A lot of it has to do with respect of the next person you interview. If I want to interview somebody about a serious topic and they know they're going to get some backlash on the internet from that interview, they have to know that when they go into the interview, they can trust the person asking the questions. So that even if there is backlash, it's not like I set them up or put them in a position to get hate comments down below. If they're pretty bad at what they're talking about, then it might happen. But I'm always conscious about that when I'm talking to Mika and Rachel and Mike and Cedric and Garen and Mark and whoever, Lar, whoever else comes on this channel. They have a reputation outside of my channel too, and I have to make sure that it is kind of protected. I know what you're thinking, Alex, it's as real as it gets. That's the next point to make when doing an interview, is the more that I do this, the more that I will know where that line is that I'm able to go to without crossing the line. The best interviewers out there today can push people to the line, ask them questions without ever disrespecting them necessarily, or tricking them into saying something that they shouldn't say. They push it further. And because I'm a beginner and these are my friends' reputations on the line, when it comes to interviews, I do sort of step back a little bit to make sure that my friends are okay. So, newsflash, it's as real as it can get because this is my ability as an interviewer right now. I can't push further without risking people's reputations. But the more that I do it, the more that we go into more controversial topics, the more interesting it will be. Which brings me to the next point. That was by 7th, and I'll paraphrase really what it was. Do you and your friends, are you worried about getting into controversial topics because of what others might think about it? There's two answers to this question. To relate it to what I previously talked about with the video of Rachel and I and all my friends when we do interviews, controversial topics are risky because they risk hurting someone's reputation. They are something that, even though I would love to, do a 1-2 punch on somebody who has a different opinion on their political spectrum or whatever, it's actually not what I want to do. I want to be right in an argument, but I don't want to hurt somebody because they have a different worldview that I have. Now, there are exceptions to that, obviously, and I'll get into that in a little bit when I kind of wrap this up. But the other reason that I don't get into controversial topics right away is that I'm actually trying to build a relationship first. When you go to a bar and you sit down next to somebody, the first thing you don't do is, let's talk politics. You say, hey, what's that game on up there? Are you a sports fan? Do you like books? You talk about things that are building a connection, building a relationship between you and the person you're talking to at the cafe or at the bar. In the same way, I do and I will soon be going into controversial topics, but I figured I first need to build a relationship with you guys. Because there are a few people out there who are going to disagree with me. Now here's the controversial topics I'll be jumping into. Controversial, we'll see. I am someone who considers myself a feminist. Shock, there's going to be someone out there who is going to have a large disagreement with me. And there's going to be someone who says I'm not feminist enough, and someone who's like, you're too feminist or whatever. But when I get into that discussion, if I jump into the conversation and say, hey guys, I'm a feminist, I feel like, I don't want to say it's clickbait, but you're kind of looking for something more, especially as a white guy on YouTube. It's like I'm looking for a lot of free likes and clicks or something, I don't know, to stand out more. And I will be talking to people who agree with me, and so that's great, but I will not be talking to people who disagree with me. And that's the point, is to have an actual conversation on issues such as, feminism or depression or bullying. These are things that if you just jump into conversation with somebody, the only people that stick around and listen are the ones who already agree with you anyway. So if I go on and talk to you about my secret plans coming up in the next few months and I throw it in at the end of the video, it helps to build this relationship between me and the person that I'm talking to. So I guess this video ends up being this kind of amalgamation of, is that the right word? Amalgamation of these two questions together. Are you tiptoeing around certain issues because it's uncut? Yes, when I'm with other people. Right now, I don't care. When it's my reputation only, I'm pretty open. But when I'm with someone else, I am still learning the ropes of the interview. So I am protecting my guests a little bit so that they'll want to come back. And I like them. They're good people. And the other part is, yes, we'll also be going into controversial issues that are going to be risking more of other people's reputations when I bring them on air. And so I need to be better at interviewing, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about issues of politics, about relations between Korea and the United States. We're going to talk about feminism. I mean, I'm filming it on Monday. Just today we found out about another popular news anchor, I believe, who was doing upskirt photos on his phone in the subway. There's a lot that I want to talk about, and we're going to get to it very soon. But overall, I do want you to know that this channel is a real channel with real emotions, real thoughts, real opinions, And I want to kind of show people and show myself and learn myself the way to do proper interviews, the way to actually have guests on the show, the way to bring up topics that are controversial, that are sensitive, that brings more people into the conversation instead of alienating them. And I guess I don't really have a big concluding sentence, but I hope that kind of clears up a little bit of kind of any misconceptions or any like kind of confusion about what exactly I'm doing on this channel. We're going to go into deep issues. I'm going to bring friends in to give you more opinions on a lot of things, and hopefully people out there learned a little bit, if you're a YouTuber, about how to treat these issues, but also how to do an interview of the friends and people that you care about on your YouTube channel. It just doesn't feel... I said what I need to say. All right, that was it for this week. Dove into a little bit of clickbait, of controversy, of interviews, the things that you can do on YouTube. What is the appropriate, ethics behind it? And if you have something you want to add about it, or you're thinking, Alex, you could do this a little better, please let me know in the comments down below. I love to get advice. I know some of it seems critical. I actually really enjoy those comments. Alex, work more on this. Do more topics about that. You shouldn't do this in your videos. Keep them coming. It helps the algorithm anyway. Don't forget to like the video for feeding the narcissism and also for honesty, because honesty should win on YouTube. Go ahead, and the last thing I'm going to do is remind people, please go ahead and look at other people's questions down below that you'll be asking for next week's Uncut, and give the questions that you like a like. Give those questions a like, so I see that people are interested in this particular question or this particular topic, and it also helps build the community. It's not just me and you, it's us, everyone around, everyone watching, everyone clicking, everyone liking. Really appreciate. Oh, I still have two more questions. One was from Amy J. That was, what upcoming project can you tell us about that you're excited about? I am going to be part of the 외국인 홍보단. It's like the promotions team for the Busan International Comedy Festival. Really looking forward to it. I get to go down there, walk the blue carpet again, and you're like, Alex, you're not really a comedian, and shut up. But I get to help promote it, and I get to go down there and hang out with some other comedians down there. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'll tell you more about it in future videos. Oh, and the other question, I just put away my phone for some dumb reason. If you could be any age for a week, what age would you choose? Bo Marlin, thank you for that question. I think I would choose something in middle school. At that time, I don't know, I had this sense of awe and wonder about the world. I was learning, I was enjoying solving math problems, I was having fun with my friends. We were still young enough to be able to do like laser tag, but still old enough to kind of be the big kids in school. So it's kind of, I don't know, maybe 8th grade. I'll go back to that and just do that for one more week. Got any questions? Leave them down below. I think that's it for this week, right? You guys enjoyed it? Garen will be here on Friday, so make sure to come back, and we're gonna talk about education and schooling. When is college good? When is it important? When is it not? Is the major important? That'll be on Friday of this week, so make sure to stay tuned, come back, and as always, oh man, this ending, man. This is Alex Uncut, as real as it gets. Be good, do good, feel good, and repeat. I'll see you next time, and I'll be better at the ending.